Greetings to you and welcome to today's edition of Dr. Love Persaud, which means I am your precious gift. That's what the Persaud means. For those of you who don't know, Persaud means precious gift. Should I give you the meaning of all the names I have? Warner, which is a universal name. It came from the Germans, and then it found its way into the British. Then it found its way as my family name. But Warner means to warn, protector, to prophesy, to speak of things to come. That's the meaning of the name Warner. To prevent, to protect is basically protector. And the name Kenny, it's also a European name. It's not Indian, it's not African. I don't know how the heck I got that name. It's European. Origin also from Europe. And the name Kenny means rich and handsome. That's what it means. Kenny means rich and handsome. Handsome, I'm not rich. Some people may think that I'm an active guy. I don't know. Some people think so. But the rich part, I'm not a politician. Politicians are rich. Business people are wealthy. Politicians are rich. I'm not a politician. Neither am I a businessman. I'm just a lowly public servant who no government pays other than I'm serving the cause that the governments should be doing. I'm doing what the government should be doing. Protecting the good citizens of Guyana. That's the government's job, it's not my job. But I'm protecting the citizens of Guyana by using my platform to educate those who need to be educated and to bring awareness to the plight of the good citizens of Guyana. That's basically my job. And it is a job, and I love doing it. It's a pleasure for me to serve you, the good citizens of Guyana. So let me take some time now to acknowledge the lovely people who have joined the live chat. And it's too bad I can't come back after the show to read the chat because it's live chat. So when the stream ends, so does the chat. You don't have a record of that. So what you need to do is to watch the program back and make a comment in the section, because the live chat is not saved. It only happens when you're live. It's not like Facebook. And yes, I'm still locked out of Facebook. Facebook is communist. It's not a democratic platform. It's a communist platform. It's a dictatorship. Mark Zuckerberg is a dictator. There is nothing democratic about Facebook. Nothing. The algorithms are written by the communists. No justice there. None whatsoever. They shut you down without explanation. And that so-called explanation they give, oh, you community standards. But they never break it down to you. And they finish with you. Anyway, YouTube, well, when you screw up on YouTube, they just demonetize you. and other stuff. But at least you still get a chance to babble. So let's talk to some of the people here. It says Tar Badulal. Is it Badulal? Anita Sitaram, Arjun Amrit, Kanta Kaulasa, Nina Singh, Sabrina Love, uh, Mike Carpon, Savitri Rose. I'm supposed to be wearing glasses. I've been wearing prescription glasses as a young teenager, my early adult, but I hate it. But I need to get back to it because you see, I can't even. I gotta like. It's not professional. So if I haven't called your name, I'm welcoming all of you to this broadcast. Spread the word. That button there, subscribe. I should have had over 10,000 subscribers already on YouTube. But a lot of you are lazy to press the subscribe button. Are you PMC? Are you from the APNU or the AFC? Because those people are lazy. I don't think so, because the PPP people are hard-working people. So pressing the subscribe button is nothing for the PPP crowd. It's easy job. It's like opening the beer bottle. Don't go try it. I'm just making a comparison. Press the subscribe button. Elections is coming up. Elections is coming up. I need you to help me spread the message around. Every Guyanese household in Guyana and abroad, the sound of my voice and do exactly as I recommend. For that to happen, you have to spread the word. You have to make sure that the video reach the corners of Guyana so they understand that I'm the guy they need to trust. They need to trust me because I have no ulterior motive, none whatsoever. I'm just doing this because I love the Guyanese people, not the bad ones. I'm not going to be churchy, sanctify, and say I like bad people. No, I don't. I want to make that explicitly clear. I don't like bad people. I don't. This is why I can't look at Aubrey Norton, because I don't like bad people. But good people, decent people, people who can say, the people who can say, thank you, please, can I? Oh, you're welcome. Greetings, good morning, good day, good night, good evening. You're so nice. That was very kind of you. Oh, wonderful. I think you did a great job. Well done. I like those people because those people were properly raised. Properly raised. They say, excuse me, can I? Would you like to? When you tell them no, they respect that. They move on. When you tell them yes, immediately they deliver. Those people I like because they are predictable. Predictable, meaning there are no surprises. What you see is what you get. If they tell you, listen, man, I don't like the thing you just said. It hurt my feeling. Then you apologize and they go back to loving you. They don't be offended and then they hate you for everything else you've done. No, They are offended based on what you said in that moment. You apologize in that moment and they forgot the thing you just did. Your sins are forgotten. I like those people. I don't like the people who pretend they forgive you. You may offend them and then you say, I'm sorry. Oh, don't bother with it. But then they move on and they plot to destroy you. They carry that stupid thing in their hearts and they go to bed and they're thinking, oh, he was disrespectful. Don't he know who I am? I need the world to worship me. And they plot, they conspire to destroy you. No, I don't like those people. Those people are from the PNC camp. Yes. So I avoid them. I'm telling you, avoid them. Deal with people that are clear. Clear. They will tell you like it is. PPP people, People's Progressive Party Civic Group. They don't walk around with animosity, malicious intention. They don't do that. They don't pretend that they're good with you. And when a situation arises, a toxic situation arises, they look for opportunities to get at you. No, PPP don't do that. PNC does that. APNU people does that. This is why, look at the chaos. How can you justify living in a neighborhood, Tushin, that man who built that, oh, you think I'm done with it? Oh, really? You think because you had enough money from GoFundMe and you created chaos and your emotions are calm, you're looking for the next hype? You think I'm done with what you did to that family and their business? Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm not done. I'm very sorry to disappoint you. I'm not, no. Mm-mm. Remember, I'm a Cancer. July. We don't focus on the battle. July people, it's never about the battle. The battle is just before you. Ah, we focus on the war. War. That's our focus. So when you won the battle and you let all your guards down, that's when we are ready to fight. Because it ain't over until the war is over. So for me, it ain't over yet. You can't burn that man's building, destroy the man's properties, loot the Chinese, Indians, threaten the decent Africans in Guyana. You can't do that and justify it by, oh, you were upset and you were in the moment because of what happened allegedly of that child. No, it don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. No. You have to pay, every one of you, every one of you, that lift a stone and pelt on that building, that fan the flames of fire on that building. Every one of you that looted the Chinese, that harassed the Indians, that vandalized the cars, that burned that man's vehicles. Every one of you must pay. Must pay. Every you. It ain't over yet. You think it's over. Oh, you're sleeping good at nights. You think it's forgotten. No, it's not forgotten. All the footage is there of your destruction. All the footage is there. with all your faces and all your voices, and everything is captured in the hundreds of footage you took with your cell phones. Yeah, let's go burn the building. Yeah, oh yeah, remember you thugs, you gangsters and you thugs and you thieves, you vagabonds. You made films, filming yourself, destroying people's property, public infrastructure. You did. You a-hole. It's in the record. So I am going to keep pushing it now. Pushing it. Because all this time, that man's business has been destroyed. For all this time, how many weeks since D-Day, Destruction Day, from then to now, that man and his family and his employee and the government, because they pay taxes, and the suppliers who supply them with groceries, with drinks, and other things. Everybody is affected because of you. Everybody's affected. Everybody has a loss of income because of you terrorists. Every one of you. Woman, man, child, every one of you that were involved in that chaos, destruction throughout the country, you are Barnum's terrorist. That evil man born inhabited you, possessed you. Oh, but that's not your excuse. No, you had a choice. You chose to loot that hotel. You chose to stone that glass frame. You chose to set fire to that vehicle. You chose to spread the propaganda about rituals and sacrifice and kidnappers. You chose to do that. You did. Now you should suffer the consequences. Every one of you, suffer the consequences. It ain't over yet. You think it's over? Any day they'll come for you. Any day. So don't sleep good at nights. Don't put your head down and then you're like, oh, and this is the thing they do. This is one of the things they do. I'm talking to the PNC crowd. I'm talking to the opposition crowd. I'm talking to, yes, they're on this live. They watch this video. They watch all my videos. I'm talking to you. If you think after what you've done, you can go into a church or whenever, your face may not be, but it's on the internet. It's in the server. And you can walk with your fancy, well, this is fancy. This is fancy. I don't know what you wear, but walk with your suit and you're dressed in your fake makeup and you go into church and you're singing, what's the song they sing? Uh, Amazing Grace and yeah, yeah, they're singing, right? And then they're praying in this tongue, laba baba shamba, shidi shidi da da da. Yeah, they're doing all of that. You think your sins are not noted, what you have done? You think the record you have on your Facebook and your footprint on Instagram, you think it's not in record? Yes, all your digital footprint is there. All your crimes are there. God ain't forgiven that. No, because the law would not. So you go there and you want to touch other people as if you are sanctified. You are this, oh my gosh. Everyone in the church, raise your hands and point your hand towards this sister. And let us pray for this sister. God deliver her. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't going to happen. You should have thought about it when you stayed in your house that day, saw something on social media, and your racism surfaced. not emotions. Your racism surfaced, and you think that you are a bully, an African bully. Everybody's afraid of you. And you step out, join the gang of thieves and thugs and robbers, and go and terrorize those people and their business. And anyone who publicly were in opposition to you and in support to the businessman, even the government. You want to go to church now and ask for forgiveness? No, you shouldn't. I tell a lot of you, this is why men like me can't get in politics. They will call us dictators. This is why we can't get in politics. We don't compromise. Right is right. Wrong is wrong. Wrong should not be forgiven. Wrong must be consequence. Consequence to wrong. And you now want the world to forget about your sins? Take a look in that compound. Go back to Tushin. Go back to the Chinese, the areas where they destroyed those Chinese. Go back there. Some of them are still trying to rebuild. Still trying to rebuild while you move on with your life. While you move on with your life, you messed up these people's businesses, their lives, and you move on with your life, and they're there waiting for the insurance company to compensate them. The insurance company may compensate them for the building, not the loss of income. Insurance don't compensate for that. You insure your structure. You don't insure your income. Who is going to compensate all those people who suffered loss of income for your evil, evil, racist act? Somebody got to pay for that, and you should pay for that. Keep this alive. What the PNC supporters, the opposition supporters, what they have done, the way they continue to terrorize decent Indo-Guyanese, it is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Today, they would attend an Indian wedding, empty-handed mostly. They go and the Indians would feed them so much that they can't take any more. They're so filled. They dance with the Indians at the wedding. When they have the Muslim holidays, giving out the meat and all these things, they go in the line, they stand in the line, and they receive so many kilos of meat free. When they have these charitable functions, they stand in line. Look at C.N. Sharma. You can say what you want about C.N. Sharma. I revere that man. When it comes to C.N. Sharma, I'm not mixing politics with that. Chandra Narayan Sharma is a good man. Forget his politics. Put his politics aside. He's a good man. I have the greatest admiration and respect for C.N. Sharma. He's a legend. He saved. You think Muhammad did shit? You think that boy Astradine is anything? All of C.N. Sharma's life, as long as I can remember, he served Black people all his life. Black people everywhere. He did 1,000 times more than this Muhammad guy could even think of. And Sharma is a Hindu. Sharma was deceived into thinking that the blacks he helped in the ghetto loved him. He did much more. He is a saint, C.N. Sharp, a saint. He went so far to start a political party. How much support did he get from the same blacks that he fed, gave money continuously? How much support he got? How much? And he is a billionaire. Since then, he was a billionaire. He is a billionaire. What challenges he may have faced in his life, the time when he was doing his thing, he was a billionaire. I have the greatest respect for C.N. Sharma. Greatest respect. I will never, never dishonor that man's name. Never. For no one. I wouldn't do it. The blacks he helped, and still, those same blacks, whenever the PNC called them out to protest the Jagdeo government, to protest, they forget all the good the Indian man, Hindu, C.N. Sharma did for them. They forget all that. And they rise up in unison when it comes to protesting, rioting, harassing, looting, burning businesses and Indian people. I'm saying burning businesses, not burning Indian people, but harassing Indians. They forgot that their livelihood came from Indians. They forgot. And we have today, how many of them that man in Tushin, that hotel there, would have helped? They wouldn't come and say that man did good for them. They wouldn't say that. How many of them go to the Chinese with not enough money and the Chinese tell them, okay, you can take the item? How many of them go to these Indian organizations and receive free clothing, food hampers? It's not that they're poor, but they're lazy. And because these people do not judge or investigate their circumstances, they go there pretending, putting on the sad faces with a long story, playing on the emotions of the Indians. And still, those same Negroes, at the click of a finger, they run out with their pitchforks and their torches to harass Indian people, to terrorize Indian people, to loot the Chinese, to damage the infrastructure that the government, only the Indian government, as you want to call it that way, has ever done in Guyana. PNC built nothing. Nothing. The only continue to invest in the infrastructure and the development of Guyana. And the blacks, the Afro-Guyanese, would not think twice when it comes to standing against the Indians at the behest of the PNC, who did nothing and does nothing for them. Absolutely nothing. So I'm not done yet. I need justice for that man. This is not an insurance thing. That man must get justice. The Chinese that was looted must get justice. All those people who were massacred during the Burnham time, the people who were harassed during the riots of 2020, all the persons who were suffered by the hands of these thugs must face the necessary penalty. The government of Guyana, don't wait for a black government. They never will do that. You know that. You know that, right? They will never do that. PPP, you need to give justice to your base. You need to give justice to your base. You exist. You exist, PPP, because of the Indo-Guyanese, not the blacks. Indian, you exist because of them. They stood by you in all the chaos, in all the fact that you have not had any comprehensive policy towards guaranteeing the security of the Indians throughout your existence. The Indians stood by you. Those who left to join the PNC, they're cowards, cowards. Whoa, 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 cowards. That's why they left. They are afraid of the blacks. So they thought if they pretend to join the blacks would not target them. Bravo. But they target your relatives. They target your friends. May not you, because you're being seen with PNC people. You have a black friend in your group. So you think you're protected. But what happened to your brother and your sister? What happened to your cousins? What happened to your uncles? What happened to all the Indians that you call family? What, they all have to join PNC too to have protection? Why does it have to be that way? The PPP government must, if you haven't done it before, you must, because the future depends on this. Protect the Indians. The blacks don't need protection. The only blacks that need protection are the blacks who are publicly associating with the PPP. They need protection from the evil ones in the PNC, the ghetto. But otherwise to that, black people don't need protection. The Indians do. The Chinese do. So government of the PPP, protect your base. Otherwise, more cowards will jump ship. More of them will. Out of fear. They would not jump ship with their votes, because when it comes to the voting time, and they go into that voting booth where they are there alone, they are going to vote on you, PPP. But that's besides my point. You see, appearances can be influential. So when they go and they sit amongst the PNC in public, the vulnerable Indians who may not know what's happening, the 1% brain ones who did not develop their full capacity, they'll be watching and they'll say, hey, if Sanjay can go join PNC, and I respect Sanjay, you know, I think Sanjay is a good guy. I think I'm going to join the PNC too because I trust Sanjay. But the idiot doesn't know that Sanjay is pretending because he's afraid, he's a coward. So he's going and being with C so that they would not hurt him. But Sanjay at heart is a PPP. When it comes to voting, Sanjay will vote for the PPP. But the 1% brain that is watching, he doesn't know that. So he will actually follow Sanjay and vote for the PNC. But Sanjay is not doing that. Appearances is everything. So this is my thing to you cowards, you Indo-Guyanese cowards that are joining the AFC and joining the PNC or the APNU. You're cowards. What's his name again? Ramjatan. You're a coward. Moses Lagamutu. You are a coward. Branish Maripo. Maripai. You're a coward too. You're joining the PNC. But you know in your heart you're PPP. Because when it comes to voting, you are voting for the PPP. The PNC thinks you're voting for them. Yeah, well, they're idiots. Let them think so. Appearances. I want all the people, all the Indians who have joined or supposedly joined or pretend or make it seem like they are to rescind, go home, go back home. They're welcoming you. Repatriate back to the PPP. I would love to cuss. It's Friday. I can't cuss. It's the weekend. No cussing. But I would love to do it. But I can't. So repatriate back to the PPP and do it publicly. So all those 1% brain capacity Indians, Indo-Guyanese, who think they should join the PNC could see that, hey, no, I'm going to stay with the PPP. Do it. Elections is close. Government of Guyana, give assurance to that you mean business. It doesn't mean you're racist. What does protecting the Indians got to do with being racist? And when I talk about protecting the Indians, let me break it down. Let me be a little more explicit. Equip the police. Give the police immunity. Equip them. Educate the ghetto. Let them understand the role of the police. Let them understand why the police are there to protect the good citizens, to enforce the law. It's no longer a constable. A constable back in the day was there just to keep the peace in the neighborhood, just to deal with any conflict resolution. That's what they were there for. Constables were not supposed to enforce laws. There were no laws to enforce, but just to keep the peace. Police officers are there to enforce the law. You know what enforcement is, right? Yes, apply it. You want to break the law? Okay, I'm going to whip you with the law. Enforcement officers. Equip your enforcement officers to enforce the law so that those lawbreakers suffer the consequences and the law keepers can live decent, protected, happy lives in a country that they love. We have this thing we're saying, Guyana is the fastest growing economy in the world. Really? Really? It is? I'm trying to find out. Is Guyana the fastest growing economy in the world? You're talking about GDP growth? Cancel the oil. What are we dealing with? Is what? A stagnant economy in inflation, rescind. What are we talking about? The growth of an economy is not just about the increase in profit or the profit margin on a graph. The growth of an economy, it has to do with people and commerce, business and the social aspect and the entire collective community growing. And when you are growing, its expansion, its height, its width, its depth. You are growing out, up. Your roots are getting deeper. That's the growth we're talking about. But how are we going to say that Guyana is the fastest growing economy in the world, but crime is so high? Hmm? How? What kind of growth are we talking about there? Crime is so high, and yet your economy is doing well? In what sector? What sector? The growth has to reflect every sector. You see, the oil manufacturers, they have the best security. Them thugs ain't gonna mess with that. The banking sector, they have great security. Them lunatics and them criminals, they ain't gonna mess with that. What about the everyday hustler, the market, the Chinese, the Indian stores and departments? What about them? Are they including in this fastest growing economy? Are they a part of the economy? Don't they have to pay taxes as well? Fastest growing economy means security for all the citizens. Jobs are available to every Guyanese, which it is. Which it is. I'm coming to my point. When you talk about that, you can't just focus on the oil and gas sector, which is protected. The government will send the military after any pirate or terrorist who threatened that sector. The military, they would on site. Why can't you do that for the rest of the country? Why can't you do that for the private sector? Why can't you do that for the neighborhoods? Why couldn't you do that for that Tushin business, that hotel? Why not? They're contributing to the economy. They're in the equation why the economy is growing so fast because these people invest in the economy, providing service, quality service. Why weren't they protected? Why couldn't you send the military to shut down that thing before it escalated and created the problems in the whole country? And don't they matter? Every penny counts when it comes to the tax income. Every penny. You have debts to repay. Guyana, country, you need to repay the debts that you borrow from the IMF and all these people. You can't just use the oil money to pay the debt back. You need to have income from every sector. But if you do not protect every sector, then they can't perform to pay you the taxes. They're not all like Muhammad, Azruddin Muhammad. Because if everybody robbed the government 400 million Ghana dollars, you would have a collapsed economy. The rest of them are paying, most of them are paying their taxes, but they're not getting the protection, are they? Are they? The one who has robbed the government, he has his own army. Yeah, you took his weapons back, but the thing is, the average citizen who wants to invest and come and do what they have to do for their country, where is the protection for them? Government, you have to put systems in place. Guyana's economy depends on the Indians. The Indo-Guyanese are the ones who are contributing 80 separately. The Indo-Guyanese are the ones, not the Chinese, not the oil and gas, because before the oil and gas, Guyana was booming. Guyana was booming. The oil and gas added to that boom. But Guyana was booming. All the money from the IMF, they had to reduce the currency value because that is what the bank IMF does. You take money from them, they reduce your currency value so that they can hold you at ransom. That's what they do. That is what banks do. The IMF is a bank, so forget that. But Guyana's economy grew and continued to grow because of the Indo-Guyanese, East Indian Guyanese. They are the one who kept the ship rolling, floating. Only them. You want to say they're blacks too? How much? 1% against 99%? And the 1% black or Afro-Guyanese who may have contributed to the growth of the economy, they got their funding via politics. And those who did not get their funding via politics, the others got their funding and sponsorship from who? Indians. So however you turn the table, whatever angle you look at the equation, it comes back to my point. Indo-Guyanese were, are, and will always be the savior, the foundation, and the future when it comes to Guyana's economic growth and stability. The Indians. Okay? Okay? Say what you want. Those are the facts. So you have to develop your policies, government, to protect that vulnerable group because they are vulnerable. They are vulnerable. Every time there is a chaos incited by the PNC, every time there's a riot, who is targeting? Who? Indians. Even when the PNC was in government, their own induced riots never target them. It targets the Indians. The Indians continue to be the victim, the victims. And you know what is funny? You know what is funny? The Indo-Guyanese are the majority. They are the majority. That's what's funny. The, the minority, because of the Indians and the blacks, are making the majority lives miserable. How does that happen? What is it that the Afro-Guyanese has that the Indians are so afraid of? The Indo-Guyanese, even in the time of that demon king, had all the economic might since then. But they never used their money and power to affect the blacks in a negative way. They never did. They used their money and power to help black neighborhoods, to help black families. So throughout the modern history of Guyana, the people who have continued to contribute more are the Indians. So politics didn't get the Indians rich. It's discipline. It's just an Indian thing. Maybe it's the religion. Yeah, maybe it's the religion. Like the Chinese, no matter where they go, they prosper. And you are going to allow a small group of paid thugs to every time there is a crisis, they're called out by their bosses to come and terrorize the majority of the people who has all the means financially, all the equipment, all the technology to shut them down. But you're not doing it because Indian people are peaceful. An eye for an eye. I'm saying enough of that. Enough of that. If the government don't deal with the problems, you deal with it yourself. That's what I'm saying. If the government, none of them, PNC and the PPP, cannot provide maximum protection by law for Indo-Guyanese, then you have to provide it for yourself. The best way you can. Because if I make suggestions of this live, well, you know what will happen. You know what will happen. The suggestion I've made in the past, and I said, all the Afro-Guyanese who are unhappy in Guyana, who think they have a right to that country, and they have some biological, genetic connection to the land, and the land belongs to them, no matter who bought it or who owns it after, they have a right to go and take whatever other people have. Those blacks should get on a ship and go back to Africa. Go back to Africa. Go claim the land there. Because the white man discovered Guyana. Not the black man, the white man did. So you don't have any right there. None. You get an opportunity to be there, be thankful, be happy, and obey the law like everybody else. You don't have to be a bully. That's what I'm calling for. And to hammer the point home, elections is around the corner. Look at your history. People cannot plan their life 3 months before the elections. People put their plans on hold. And when I say people, I'm talking non-black people. Non-black people I'm talking about. They have to put everything on hold because they have to wait and see what happens before and after elections. Why must it always happen? Why must it always be that way? Because there is an innate fear from decades of trauma, from historical records, that before elections, the PNC engages their apparatus to terrorize the Indians so that they are afraid to go out and vote for the PPP. It's a known practice. You cannot predict what can happen. But if you are sober enough and focused enough, you would understand that there is no competition for the PPP. You do not have to put your plans on hold in case AFC wins, in case PNC wins. No, 2015 was a mistake. The 28 years of Barnum was because of terrorism, because he used the rod of corruption. He used the rod of witchcraft and fear, murder, racism to scare Indians away from the polling booths, offer no protection. So for the Indians' security, they stayed home and wait for the right time after the death of the demon king. Then, if he was still alive, elections would have continued to be rigged. Now they're invoking his strategies and have used it throughout the Jagdeo regime, the Ramata regime, and to stunt again. Thanks to the universe, it didn't work, but they're still referring to Ali as illegitimate. Illegitimate, because they think they had some, and they just think that they have this right to win an election. They think they have this right. So the PNC must understand, and the opposition parties who are all PNC must understand, but because of what happened, they had the experience with being in government. Things have changed. It's not that time anymore, Aubrey Norton. It's not that time anymore. You should run for president against Azruddin Muhammad for the ghetto, for Buxton and the East Coast and those places. You two should compete. He wants to be king of the ghetto. You want to be president of the ghetto. The two of you should compete for those votes. Then you can set up your own little country in those neighborhoods and your government. But when it comes to Guyana and the opportunity to govern Guyana, it will never happen. I'm saying it. It will never happen. So you, the PPP supporters, go ahead and plan your life. Plan your life for the next 30 years. Plan your life from now, because elections in September, President Ali will be president again. Make Ali president again. Make all Guyana rich again. And most importantly, keep Guyana safe. Ali, keep Guyana safe. Instruct your Home Affairs Minister to stop playing footsie with them thugs and equip your police force. They might be PNC, but they swear to protect and uphold the law. So while they may have a soft spot for the PNC party, they cannot compromise when it comes to doing their job, fighting against crime, protecting the good citizens of Guyana. That has no politics. The law is the law. So equip your police force. Not pepper spray like there's some woman afraid of being mugged. Pepper spray is for women who like to walk the streets alone, prostitutes. You know, when they give it in and the guy don't want to pay, then they spray them. Pepper spray is not for police officers who have to fight against criminals with big guns. No, police officers need big guns too. Not pepper spray. Those things that they spray, those electric. My brain isn't functioning properly right now. Tasers. You're giving police officers grown-ass men. Is that what they teach in the police academy? How to use a pepper spray and taser? That's how you subdue these criminals? Home Affairs Ministry of Guyana, give the police the order to deal with the criminals the way they should be dealt with. Accordingly, brute force, shut it down. Because people need to go home to vote. They need to go to Guyana to vote. And if they have this fear that they will not be protected, you are going to lose votes. PNC is not going to make you Home Affairs Minister. You would have to wait another 5 years if the government comes again. But you have done a terrible job in these 5 years, Mr. Ben, a terrible job. People are not safe. They don't feel safe. You mean the president need to come do your job too? He's busy cleaning the streets. He's busy visiting every neighborhood he can find. The people need protection. Give license, firearm license to decent families. If the father has no record of being an alcoholic or a woman abuser, you evaluate them psychologically. If they pass the test, give the Indians guns. You're not going to give it to a man who likes to drink and get drunk and beat his wife. No, I'm not in for that. Any idiot, and a lot of Indian idiots like to do that. Drink, get drunk, they go home. Before they use the alcohol to get an erection to the wife, they use the alcohol, they go home and they pick a fight. And they beat the woman because they are numb from the alcohol. They are numb. They punish that woman. And their children are there watching what the father is doing to the mothers. Those idiots. No, you're out of the equation. You should go in the ghetto. Go live there. Go fight with them thugs. You want to beat on women? Go fight with the thugs. Go there. Show your power there. But no, you have issues with them thugs. Somebody roughs you up, insults you, and you take that anger, you take it out on your wife, who did nothing wrong to you. Nothing. Instead of you standing up as a man and deal with a thug who disrespect you, you want to go beat your wife at home. So I'm dealing with that kind of crowd. I'm dealing with the decent Indo-Guyanese, the hardworking, law-abiding, who just want to protect his family from the criminal thugs who are terrorizing the neighborhoods. Give them the guns. The ones in the vigilante groups who stay up at nights to patrol the neighborhoods and protect their fellow citizens, give them, all of them in the vigilante groups, give them firearms. Yes, and give them the order. Anoint them. Deputize them as police so they can arrest and use the force if necessary when they catch these criminals. Keep the neighborhood safe. I know the police can't be everywhere. I know that the police force is not so great. It's not 20,000 strong. It should be. For a country with almost 1 million people, the police force should be at least 100,000. The military should be at least 200,000. If you can't find so much, take it to 50,000. Guyana police force should be at least 50,000 strong. At least. You got almost 1 million people. Almost 1 million people. And look at your police force. Look at the number. This is why they're always overwhelmed. Equip the police. Recruit more Indo-Guyanese. Let your children, your sons and daughters, I know you are ambitious. I know the parents, you send your kids to school to get a degree, not to go join the police force. You think the police force are for losers, school dropouts, poor people. I get it. But that mentality should change, because those same Indo-Guyanese children with their degrees, they will join the police force in America, in England, in Europe. Why not in Guyana? Why not? Policing is policing everywhere. So the Guyana government and Home Affairs Ministry system should use the same tactics like the foreign lands to attract more people. But you can't treat the police like they're thugs and from the ghetto and expect decent Indo-Guyanese would send their children to join the police force or think it's a great accomplishment. No, you got to treat them with more respect and honor, more dignity. Dignify the police officers. Make it attractive. Make it elite. Then people might say, hey, they have an ambition to join the police force because it became something that of a different class. You treat them like ghetto. You have these thugs slapping the police on the roadways, cussing the police. No, 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 no. You have to get the police to have more respect. Let the citizens fear the police. Raise the standard for entry. Raise the standard. They must have a minimum at least 5 subjects at the CXC level. 5. Raise the standard. I don't know what the requirements are, but I'm making a recommendation. And double their salary. Look at what the PNC did. They got into power. They haven't started doing anything. First act of business, double the income of their loser minister, the loser government of the PNC. They increase the salary for themselves. Double the salary of the police officers and the military. All the discipline services, double their salary. Not 10% of 13%. 100% on their salary. You will see how much of the smart asses of the country will run to the police force to enroll. You will see. Make it attractive. You say Indian people are persuaded by money? I'm persuaded by money too. I mean, nobody's paying me right now, but you think if I get it, okay. The Mohammed camp some time ago reached out. I refused it. No, you can keep your stuff there. I ain't interested. But if the police force is offering an attractive salary on the same level, let's say that, give a figure. If the average salary in Guyana is 200,000 Guyana dollars, then you start, that's the starting salary for the police. Starting. With all the other benefits. Free healthcare, free this, free that, everything free. You will see how many people would enroll. And you raise the requirement, age requirement. You need to populate the discipline services. Give them a lot of money. They wouldn't be corrupt. Give them a lot of money. You should have at least 50,000 discipline services, joint services, at least 50,000. The military alone should have about 100,000 alone. It's not practical? Of course it's practical. Look around the world. Look at countries with smaller population. Look at the size of their military and police. Look around. Because they compensate those officers. So the young people are attracted to it. They see a future. Do the same thing. But when you look around the discipline services of Guyana, you see 80% Afro-Guyanese, 80%. The police force, 80% Afro-Guyanese. You think they're going to go fight these thugs? Their cousins and their nephews and their brothers and their uncles? You think they'll go fight? No, of course not. They won't fight them. You need people who don't look like them to police them. That's why in America, they keep a certain percentage of blacks in the police. Never go above that. So every time there is a riot, a protest, public unrest in America, what kind of police do you see? 90% white. They never send the majority blacks because they know emotions. They wouldn't want to use the force they should. You want to shut the problem down, send people that don't look like that. Guyana needs the same system because we have to stop this chaos. We have to end the chaos. Go home to vote. Start planning now. Book your flight. Book your hotel. Tell your relatives. Rent an apartment. Whatever you need to do, it's worth the investment. Go to Guyana. Check online. Make sure you're registered. Go to Guyana. You can register and do all of that the same week for voting. I think, is it closed? I'm not, but do your research. Go on government sites and find out. But at the end of the day, the PPP must secure not less than a 10-seat majority. 10 seats. Not just win, but they must dominate the parliament by 10 seats. That is what I need to see happen. Not 5, definitely not 1 like what's now. This nonsense. This nonsense. Now look at the margin of error. That should never happen. The PPP must always secure a 10-seat majority in the parliament so they can comfortably govern the country. Progress must continue. There must not be any hindrance to that. And a 10-seat majority would guarantee the continuation of progress. Go to Guyana, vote for the best party that has Guyana's interest. Vote for the continuation of the best president in Guyana's history. I tell you now, go and vote. Until next time, this is Dr. Love Persaud saying, pray for yourself. Pray for your country. And if you're still awake while you're praying, then pray for me too. Goodbye now.